Well, here we are again. Good morning, everyone. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and this is what I call my morning musings. Hey, appreciate all of the emails, appreciate the comments. I've got some really wonderful emails about our updated eschatology.org website that you can see here. Appreciate those kind remarks. Let me recommend that you go there. Check it out. Webmaster's done a marvelous job on that. Well, I've asked you to submit questions to me, topic suggestions, and what have you. One of the questions that has been submitted was, prior to AD 70, assuming that the Lord came in AD 70, prior to AD 70, where did the faithful child of God go when they died? And now, where does the faithful child of God go when they die? You know, this entire question is really very, very critical to eschatology. Why is that? Well, because it involves the question of the millennium. Very clearly, according to Revelation, and by the way, according to Hebrews chapter 9 as well, and according to the rest of the New Testament, I guess I should say, there was really no entrance into the most holy place. There was no entrance back into the presence of God, i.e. the restoration of Eden. There was to be no restoration to that until the day of the Lord. Or, to express it like Revelation chapter 15 does, until the wrath of God, found in the seven bowls, would be completed. Now, this has to do with the entire question of the millennium. Revelation chapter 20, the souls of those who had been beheaded for the word of God. They are enthroned. They rule and reign with Christ for 1,000 years. At the end of the 1,000 years, the rest of the dead are raised. The great white throne judgment is taken, and Hades is destroyed when? At the end of the millennium, and the new creation, i.e., restoration to the presence of God, takes place. So you see, the question of what happened to men prior to AD 70 and after is really one that has to do with the finished work of Christ and the why of Hades and the why of judgment. Let me state this as simply as possible. Prior to the parousia, men went to Hades. Why? Because there was no objective forgiveness. There was forgiveness in anticipation of the coming of Christ and His ultimate sacrifice, that's to be sure. But in the objective, realized, accomplished sense, there was no salvation, there was no forgiveness, there was no redemption. And thus we are given the picture that all men went to Hades, awaiting the redemptive work of Christ, awaiting judgment at the parousia and at the resurrection. Now, in the next segment, I will share with you from Hebrews chapter 9 that really clearly tells us and gives us a picture of what happened to men prior to the parousia. Now, in the meantime, my good friend Sam Dawson has written a book, Essays on Eschatology. Sam has written extensively on Hades, judgment, hell, and on the issue of hell itself, I'm still very much unsettled. I have difficulty with the traditional view about it. So I don't have my mind made up at this juncture about an eternal conscious torment. I'm still on the fence about that. So, nonetheless, let me recommend to you that you get Sam Dawson's book, because Sam talks about Hades, he talks about the rich man and Lazarus, He talks about hell. He's got a tremendous amount of material in this book that will challenge you. I'm still working my way through a lot of it. Okay. Pardon me. So let me recommend that you get the book, Essays on Eschatology by Sam Dawson. Go to my website, www.eschatology.org or www.bibleprophecy.com. Now, on BibleProphecy.com, if you order the book and you enter the code 7070, it will not charge you shipping. On eschatology.org, if you order it through there, just mention that you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll refund your shipping. But you will find this book to be very, very challenging. You'll find a ton of material in it that will really help you. You know, we really should never be afraid to rethink and to challenge our own traditional thinking. So, get the book, Essays on Eschatology by Sam Dawson. And don't forget, in the next segment, we'll be talking about Hebrews chapter 9 and what happened to men prior to the second coming and what happens to men after the coming of Christ. We'll see you then.